Our man Dan Graziano does a fantastic job as an ESPN NFL Insight. Hit him on the socials at Graz ESPN. Graz, if we throw this question to you, who has the most to gain from a win this year in the Super Bowl? What is your answer and why?
Most to gain?
Yes.
Geez, that's a good one. I guess Darnold, right? Like, is that like this? It would be a culmination of really an incredible journey. Probably vault him into a different category in terms of how we view him as a quarterback than we've ever seen him before, even after the last 2 years. I feel like all year, most of the reason people doubted Seattle was because they figured Darnold wouldn't be able to get it done in the big games, and to this point he has. Maybe that's it. Maybe this stamps him as something a lot more legitimate than we've perceived him as since he was drafted.
So last night was Super Bowl media night out in San Francisco. I always love hearing the great questions from people who don't cover the NFL regularly and
sarcasm.
Get a chance to ask those. But there actually was one important question that was answered from Drake May about his throwing shoulder. So he injures it in the AFC Championship game. He says that he's feeling good, I'll be fine, and then he gave a little wink at the end.
Right.
What do you make of this? Do you think that, are you hearing anything about like how he's feeling at this point? It doesn't seem like it's going to affect him for Sunday, but what's the latest there, Grass?
Yeah, nobody I've talked to there, Courtney, sounds worried. But, you know, it's something. I mean, they listed him as limited last week on the injury report, and he acknowledged that he's dealing with something. So he said he took all the reps in practice, that he feels good, that it turned a corner over the weekend. And so that's great. And I think what we'll watch for now is what do the practice reports say starting, I guess tomorrow will be the first official one. Is he limited? Does he take every practice rep? Does he wake up feeling sore after doing that yesterday? So I think we probably take him at his word that he's feeling good until we see otherwise. And as you know, there will be a pool reporter at every practice that can tell us that will certainly be paying attention to how many reps Drake May takes and I guess how he looks. So I would say it's not a huge concern at this point, but I think we have to continue to treat it as something worth watching until we see, he got through the week of practice full and there's no more issues.
For this Super Bowl, Graz, when you look at the Patriots and the Seahawks, I'm big on unsung heroes. If you had to pick one player from each team that could potentially be an unsung hero this Sunday, who would that player be for the Patriots, and who would that player be for the Seattle Seahawks, in your opinion?
I think maybe the guy who's playing the absolute best on the Patriots right now is Milton Williams, the defensive tackle that they gave huge money to in free agency after he helped the Eagles win the Super Bowl last year. So he could be a guy that could really kind of wreck the game for a team that has really, I've been at all their playoff games. The defense is carrying them. The offense has struggled against really good defenses. But Milton Williams, since coming back from that injury late in the year, has been a difference maker and is no stranger to this stage. And I think he could be a guy to watch. And then on Seattle, I mean, I'll keep it on the defensive line. They are loaded on the defensive line. Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence had a big year for them. But when I watch them play, the guy that tends to jump out to me is Byron Murphy, who was the first-round pick last year. So I'm looking at him as a guy that could be very, very disruptive in this game against the Patriots as well.
Great stuff about Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL Insider, joining us on Sportsmanlike and ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
So you mentioned Sam Darnold at the top, as he'd be somebody who would benefit the most here from a Super Bowl win. Do you think he has to play mistake-free football for the Seahawks to come away with victory on Sunday?
I don't, because the way the Patriots offense is playing right now, they've been prone to some mistakes as well. So I don't imagine the Patriots are going to play some kind of perfect game on offense that Darnold's going to have to match by playing mistake-free football. Obviously you want to be careful and protective of the ball, but I mean, like the Seahawks let Darnold throw on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 all day in the NFC Championship game. Now, the Rams secondary might be a little more vulnerable than what he's going to face with the Patriots this week. But no, I think mistake-free is asking a lot. There's a Vrabel. Vrabel is very fond of saying, I know it's the other team, but he's very fond of saying we're not chasing perfection, we're chasing precision. And I think that's a key distinction. And I think if Darnold plays well, and I think that the Seahawks are built to weather a mistake or two.
Both of these teams, in my opinion, have been stellar all season long on special teams, but I think the return game could be a factor on both sides. If you had to pick between Marcus Jones and Rashid Shaheed, which one do you believe will have a return for a touchdown in the Super Bowl?
Harry Douglas off the top rope with Dan Graziano this morning.
No, that's a great question. I'm going to go with Shaheed because I think the statistics probably show that Seattle's kick and punt coverage units have performed at a higher level than just about anybody this year. So it's not a slight to the Patriots special teams, but knowing how good the Seahawks have been in sort of all four phases of that this year, I'll take Shaheed for the. But that's a cool question. It'd be awesome if they both did.
Yeah,
I know.
It'd be great for the NFL. It'd be great for ratings as well. Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, Dan's always great for ratings when he has the State of the Union address. What was your biggest takeaway from what he had to say when he had a chance to speak to the media before Super Bowl opening night yesterday?
He's kind of mastered the art of sort of, giving the non-answer, right? Like I don't say that like in an insulting way, but he does tend to. I mean, like the question that jumped out to me, the one about minority hiring and the head coaches. I mean, 10 head coach openings, one minority hire, no African American hires, and in a league that's predominantly African American in terms of the players. It's an issue they've tried to address with the Rooney Rule. They've tried to address it with various other measures over the years. It's obviously not working, and Goodell knows that. He can't tell these guys who to hire, and so I think that frustrates him. That tests the limits of his power. But I was interested to hear his answer on that. Nothing really about it surprised me. I'm more interested to see what kind of initiatives come out of it, because I'm sure it's going to be discussed at the owners' meeting there in Arizona in late March.
Graz, the Rams held their season-ending press conference yesterday, and right before it, Sean McVay, Les Snead get contract extensions. They're trying to continue. They've got the right formula. They're going to try to continue this path towards getting back to the Super Bowl. And I know that Sean McVay said he'd be super-duper sad, paraphrasing there, if Matthew Stafford decides to retire, and that he really hopes he doesn't. Yeah. Do you think he comes back for another year?
I do, but... Remember, they had a difficult contract negotiation last spring, and there was talk of him being traded, moving elsewhere, maybe retiring. So, without looking at it, I think he has $40 million left on his contract for next year.
And he's got that option, too, which doesn't sound like he would exercise it.
Right. And but, I mean, if he wins MVP on Thursday, right, like... my guess is he would go to the Rams and say $40 million doesn't sound like enough for an MVP quarterback, and he would be right. So the question is, what are they willing to do then with Matthew Stafford at age 38? They weren't willing to stretch last year. They ended up winning